Now that you've seen the video clip of the Pinellas County Commission meeting that was held on December 14th, 2010, where they discussed and approved the Safe Harbor Homeless Facility, I'd just like to make some comments about the video itself and about the whole process itself. What you saw was this entire project was introduced by the former county administrator, Bob Masala. He then turned it over to Assistant County Administrator Carl Harness to talk about what the program would be and what his goals were. And it was to reduce jail overcrowding, and it was to be a jail diversion program. Karen Seal, the chair of the county commission, then commented in the video clip that it would save $9 million a year for every 250 people that were in the program. She also told the the sheriff and the other people involved in this program that this would be one-time funding and do not come back and ask for a single penny more. There was then a review of the grants by Tim Burns that they were hoping to get, and as far as I can tell, they either got very little of the grant money or none of it. I'm not sure that final number. Then Jim Coates, the former sheriff, also asked for the county commission to provide concept support and financial support to get this program started. He talked about a team effort that had been done between Judge McGrady, the chief judge of Pinellas County, the public defender, the state attorney, the mayors, and other people. And it was supposed to be a cost saving the program. Next, you saw Commissioner Ledvala, and she wanted to see that there be an actual reduction in the county budget if this program was put in place. Commissioner Maroney then made a comment that he was pretty much in support of the program, but that they had failed badly in letting the community know what was happening. And he was upset about it because some people he knows own businesses in the area, and they didn't know it was coming until there was an article in the St. Pete Times. Commissioner Seal then made a comment that she was concerned about all this project would do would be to, quote, push the balloon down the road, and by that she meant this program would take the people who are currently homeless in St. Pete and causing problems and simply move them into the High Point community. Commissioner Bostock said, and she was talking in budget terms, she was making a comment about if the money has already been budgeted to run the county jail, and this is to be a jail diversion program, which it turned out not to be, then the money is already there, and why isn't that money being spent to run the program? She also made a comment about first do no harm, and by that I'm sure she meant don't just drag St. Pete's problem into High Point and create a problem here. State Attorney Bernie McCabe made a comment that this is the best project, best program that he's seen in his many, many years in public service as a state attorney, and we just need to give it a try, but if it doesn't work, quote, just shut it down. Judge McCready then confirmed the idea, or the background of this thing, that it started in 2009 with Mayor Foster and he meeting with a number of people who were tied up in the homeless efforts throughout Pinellas County, and he was very impressed by the comprehensiveness of the program, and he also seemed to have a little bit of a reservation about the program. He says, we just need to give it a try. Public Defender Dellinger also said about the same thing, but he added that this would make High Point a much better community for people to live in. As the homeless people are already there, which they were not. They literally came mostly from St. Petersburg and the cities in the area, but not from the High Point areas. Then Commissioner Bostock said again, we need to do no additional harm. And I'm not sure exactly what she meant by that, but it's along the same lines that the other commissioners expressed doubts. Commissioner Roach said that there needs to be measurables about the return to the taxpayers. By the end of the year, you need to see what was being saved. And he said, we need to have an exit plan, and if this is going horribly wrong in 6 months, we just need to, quote, pull the plug. Karen Seal once again said, there is no coming back to the well for more money because we will not give it to anybody to run that program. Commissioner Maroney then said, if it's a county-owned building, if we own the building, do we have to give the sheriff or anybody else permission to use it as a homeless program or a jail diversion program? And the answer was no. So the county commission was going to fund it, going to allow the use of their building, and in my opinion, the program was theirs. They bought into it. They could have stopped it, but they wanted it done, and they got it done. The vote was unanimous to approve the project and fund it for the first year. Thank you. The final part of this video will be the impact on the High Point community, where I live. And first I'll start off with the impact it's had on the Largo Police Department. For those of you who don't know, Largo serves a good portion of the High Point community, and the Pinellas County Sheriff's Department serves the rest of it. The numbers are rather dramatic. In 2010, the year before Safe Harbor facility opened up, Largo PD ran 7,552 calls for service. The next year, they ran 9,006 calls for service, for an increase of 19.2%. The next year, 2012, they ran 8,160 for another 8.05% increase over the base year. And in 2013, the increase was 13.07 with 8,539 calls. The community, High Point community, is basically served by Largo Fire Department Station 40 off of Whitney Road. I'm just going to tell you the numbers for the runs directly to Safe Harbor, which is 14840 49th Street. In 2010, of course, there were 0 calls because it wasn't open. In 2011, just to Safe Harbor by just Station 40, they ran 575 calls to Safe Harbor. That is a number that's rather dramatic because that was 18.3% of all of the calls that were handled by Station 40 in all of High Point. So nearly 20%, 1 call in 5, went to a facility that had 400 or 500 people in it, compared to the community that's 15,000. The next year, 2012, they ran 653 calls just to Safe Harbor, or 18.91% of all of the calls for the High Point community. In 2013, 505 calls, or 15.03% of all of the calls for Station 40. These numbers only reflect Station 40. When Station 40 is busy, the other parts of the Largo Fire Department, the other stations, handle some calls, and I don't have the numbers for those. So the other thing to consider is that for every time Largo Fire Department runs on a call, the Sunstar facility, Sunstar services also respond. So you have to double those numbers. So instead of being 500 plus calls in 2011, it's, well, over 1,100 calls just at that address. 2012 with 650, that makes it 1,300 calls between Sunstar and the fire department. And in 2013, 500 calls just by FD, which makes it 1,000 calls between the two of them. In a time of tight budgets, this is totally unacceptable. Running that many calls to one facility because they don't have any medical personnel to handle even the most minor medical problem is basically ridiculous. The other impact in the community is because of the density of the number of homeless people. As I said earlier, having 400 or 500 homeless people in a city of 250,000 like St. Petersburg is dramatically different than having 400 or 500 homeless people in a community of 15,000. The concentration is a problem because they are so visible. They cause so many minor problems that don't even result in PD or FD calls. They're out and about panhandling endlessly, aggressively panhandling, and many of them are high or intoxicated on alcohol. Some of the customers, my clients in my business, have ceased going to the stores in the area of 58th Street and Roosevelt. There's 7-Eleven, a Hess Station, and a Walgreens, simply because of the aggressive panhandling. Another thing that is just now coming up, besides the, I guess, just the visibility of so many of them, and the difficulty that creates for anyone who wants to sell their home or buy a home in our area. They look around and see who their neighbors are, and that's a problem. And another issue that's emerging as we speak is that 2 developers are getting ready to build townhomes and condominiums on Roosevelt Boulevard in the 5000 block. The one development on the north side is going to be 96 what they call upscale townhomes for up to $250,000 apiece. I truly do not think that those people know that their closest neighbors, and that's essentially what they are, 2,000 feet away, are 400 or 500 homeless people. They will have a major marketing problem. On the south side of Roosevelt, also in the 5000 block, a number of condominiums are going in, and I don't have the details on what they will be and what they will cost, but that also is going to be a problem for them. Their neighbors, closest neighbors, 2,000 feet away, are 400 or 500 homeless people. So all in all, the county commission has brought to the High Point community a problem. Virtually everything that was said in the very beginning of this process in 2010 at the county commission meeting failed to come true. All the promises, all the representations that were made were not kept. I would urge anybody who sees this video to contact their county commissioners and tell them you don't like it. You want them to keep their promises. And to keep these promises means it may be necessary to terminate this facility. Thank you. Good day.